Hey guys, it's the nerd half of this Nerdtroverse duo and 2021 is coming to an end. There is an end of year book ask questionnaire thing that I saw going around and I thought it would be the perfect video to upload before 2021 is over. Question 1. How many books did you read this year? I kind of sadly only read 12 books this year. There's a chance I can still read a few more in the next week, but every year I want to do more reading and every year I fail. Did you reread anything? If so, what? I did reread something this year. I reread the first Trixie Belden book, which is a very old book series that my mum read when she was like 15. And I reread it for a readathon video that I have yet to upload to YouTube, but you will see that eventually. And I absolutely loved it. I love rereading books, but I just find it really hard to justify it now because there are so many new books that I want to read. But like every time I think about a certain book, I'm like, man, I really want to reread Six of Crows, and I just don't have time. Question 3. What were your top 5 books of this year? One of the books in my top 5 is definitely Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I only read this recently and I absolutely loved it. Another absolute favourite of the year is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I just absolutely love this book. It took me forever to actually pick up and read because I was just stuck for a bit, but once I read it, oh my god, such an amazing book. I love the story, I love everything about it, and just the subtle shifts. I could go on about it forever. Love the book, highly recommend it if you haven't read it already. Great book. I'm honestly surprised I only read this year. It felt like forever ago I read this. I've been obsessed with this all year. But it is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I absolutely love the Grishaverse. I haven't finished all the books yet, but I have finished Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom and I absolutely love them. I'm obsessed. Another absolute favourite is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This is the 4th volume which came out this year. I reread Heartstopper all the time. It's such a comfort read, and because I can access it on my phone for free through Tapas, I'm just consistently rereading this series. I absolutely love it. And And my other top favourite is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I only read this recently, but I absolutely loved it. It's just such a great romance novel. It had a really interesting story and I genuinely didn't know how it would end. Did you discover any new authors that you love this year? Yes, I would go with Leigh Bardugo because I hadn't read any of the Grishaverse before this, and now I've read not all of them, still making my way through it, but I absolutely love it. Will always read from Leigh Bardugo. What genre did you read the most of? Fantasy. Was there anything you meant to read but never got to? Yes. What was your average Goodreads rating? Does it seem accurate? How do I find that out? My average rating for 2021 was 4.4. Yeah. I tend to rate books pretty highly. I'm pretty chill when it comes to rating. I'm not super strict or have a really strict guideline that I follow when it comes to rating. I just kind of go with vibes. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. Did you meet any of your reading goals? Which ones? No, the only reading goal I really set was to read more than last year, and I don't think I accomplished that. I definitely read more last year, though it wasn't by a lot, and I was aiming for 50 books this year. Didn't even reach half of that. Did you get into any new genres? Nope. What was your favourite new release of the year? Was House in the Cerulean Sea a new release? Because I guess that. I'm not big on new releases. I tend to be 2 years late to anything. So I think that's my closest. Oh, Heartstopper. Heartstopper was technically a new release, so I'll go with that. What was your favourite book that has been out for a while but you've just now read? Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Definitely Carry On. Any books that disappointed you? Upside Down by N.R. Walker. I was really looking forward to and was pretty disappointed in. I once again have a vlog that I haven't edited and uploaded that I talk more about it in. It wasn't necessarily bad, I just wasn't very happy with it. It wasn't what I wanted it to be, or at least it didn't live up to the expectations I had built up in my head. What were the least favorite books of the year? There was only one book I read this year that I just genuinely did not like, and that was The Fifth Wave by whoever the hell that book's by. I read it for a readathon to fill a prompt. I didn't want to read it. I didn't enjoy reading it, and I didn't like it. It wasn't, I think I'm too old for it. It's like every other dystopian story I've ever read, but worse. The romance sucked. Not a fan. What books do you want to finish before the year is over? I would love to finish Siege and Storm. I have been trying to read that book for like 6 months. I just haven't gotten to a point in the book where I want to keep going, and I have been on and off overnight shifts for ages. Like, I just did 10 weeks of overnight, and before that I had like a couple weeks off of overnight, and then I was on overnight before that. It's been a whole bit of a mess with my work and my shifts and my schedules, and I'm not big on starting to read a book before I have to go to work, because if I get into it, I don't want to have to put it down. But then when I get home from work, I can't read because I have to go to bed. It was like a whole thing. I haven't read very much in a very long time, so I really want to read that before the year is over. We shall see. Did you read any books that were nominated for or won awards this year? I don't know. I don't really follow book awards. Like, I never have. I don't really care. Like, congrats to people that win them, but like, I don't follow awards in general, so I don't think so. What is the most overhyped book you've read this year? I didn't read that many books, and the ones that I've read I enjoyed. Maybe Carry On. Like, I loved Carry On 100%, like, cannot wait to keep going. But that book is very hyped. Did any books surprise you with how good they were? Not really. I mean, I have a pretty realistic expectations for most books, and any books I don't have a realistic expectation for, they're worse than I thought as opposed to better than I thought. How many books did you buy? I have no idea. I would estimate maybe around 20, 25 books this year. I haven't bought that many because I'm very much like, until I read the books I have, don't buy more books. Did you use your library? No, I've never been big on libraries. I've never really found them a comfortable place I can go to. I've always found libraries kind of intimidating. I feel kind of judged in a lot of libraries. And I just like owning books. What was your most anticipated release? Did it meet your expectations? I think the only one that counts, I don't think was released this year, but it's The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare. It was probably the only book I was kind of like looking forward to getting as it was released. And it met expectations, like there wasn't anything bad about it. Did you participate in or watch any Bookla, BookTube or Book Twitter drama? I'm not on Book Twitter. I don't think I'm on Bookla. I have like seen, not the drama itself, but like people talking about the drama. I'm never really gonna get involved with that kind of stuff. I honestly didn't really realize it was a thing that happened. What's the longest book you read? Well, according to my Goodreads sum up, it was actually Crooked Kingdom, which was 561 pages. What's the fastest time it took you to read a book? Probably a couple of hours. I read Across the Green Grass Fields by Shauna Maguire, which is a really small little novella. That probably only took me like 2 hours. Did you DNF anything? Why? I don't typically DNF books. I did not DNF any books this year. What reading goals do you have for next year? I think a reading goal I have is I want to try and read more diverse books. I think my problem with diverse books is I buy them, but I buy them in contemporary, and then I'm not like all that interested to read it. Like, I have a couple of more diverse books on my shelf that I haven't read purely because they're contemporary, and I don't love contemporary. So like, if you have any like fantasy of any kind, high fantasy or just like urban fantasy, or maybe even like a good sci-fi, I could try sci-fi of like a good diverse cast. Like, send it my way. I would love to look into it. Any kind of diversity that's just not like everything else on my shelf, because it's a pretty basic shelf, and I'm really trying to get better at it. That's been my goal for a few years. I've just been really slow on it. But yes, I definitely want to try and read more diverse books. I'm sick of reading the same kind of story. I think that's why Fifth Wave was really boring. It was very repetitive and similar to every other book I've read. So that's probably my biggest goal, is just get more diverse books. But with that, that is 25 questions about my 2021 reading year. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, questions, additions to anything I've said, comment below. I would love to read them and chat with you about them. Tell me about some of your books and of your interesting answers you have to these questions. I would love to talk about our reading years in general. And if you have any diverse books, please send them my way. I will absolutely look into them and add them to my ever-growing list of books that I desperately need to buy. But that's it. Hopefully this was a shorter video. I have like 3 other videos yet to edit that have been sitting on my computer for like 6 months. I will get to them, but I thought this could be a fun one to do at the end of the year, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!